We play off the wall. 4-1. Ah! Those are 5-1. Ah! 6-1. I'm getting spanked. He's a ping pong master. Should we do the intro?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Well, we are gonna go driving today. So my name is Zach Booth. This is Miguel. This is my driver. Welcome back to DFD Mastery. If this is the first time you've ever been here, welcome. I understand that the number one struggle real estate investors have is consistently finding properties at massive discounts. It can be extremely discouraging and frustrating, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's why we share our Driving for Dollars system. On today's video, we're actually going to go and talk about our Driving for Dollars criteria. So as we're out driving around finding these properties, that's step one. Step two is we go out and reach out to those people, contact those people, and see if they want to sell for speed and convenience. And then third is we hire someone to manage and run the entire thing. So that's Miguel for me. But we're going to talk about, like I said, the criteria, what we do and what we look for. So I actually give that away for absolutely free. There's going to be a link in the show notes for that exact criteria. I call it my Driving for Dollars cheat sheet. So let's go for a drive. I'll talk more about it. Let's go. Let's do this. Oh. So dirty.
It's not.
Your car is so dirty, Miguel.
You are dirty.
Dude, you need to clean your car. Goodness. So one of the number one things that I learned when I started Driving for Dollars is I learned that you needed to have a set criteria, especially when I wasn't the one driving, when I sent someone else. So I started playing around with different criteria. And when I first started, I only wanted houses that literally looked vacant. They looked like they weren't being used, maybe boarded up windows, or there was absolutely nothing in the yard, no yard decorations. It just was pretty obvious no one lived there and the house is not being used. Super long grass, super run down looking. And we were doing deals off that. We were doing quite a few deals per addresses we found, but we were really struggling to find that many of them. And then I started playing around with like any physical signs of neglect. And I started testing it and actually looking at my numbers, how much I would spend to how much I would make, depending on the criteria of my list. And so I've tested this, and my students across the countries have tested it, my beta test students, I should say. And we have come down to like, this is the best criteria to follow. This has been the most profitable nationwide. So some students, I just had a student in New Jersey ask me, well, Zach, I think that maybe this criteria is not the correct criteria for my market. And what I suggest is if you want to test different criteria, let's say you go, okay, well, I want to see what list is going to produce the best return for me. So he's going to create 3 different lists. He's going to create a list that is the super rundown houses. So 3 to 4 things on that Driving for Dollars cheat sheet. He's going to put that into one list. If they have 2 things, he's going to put it in the second list. And if it has only 1 thing on that criteria, he's going to put it in the third list. He's going to follow the systems to reach out and contact those people. And then he's going to track how much money he makes to how much he spends. So if you guys want to use this cheat sheet and do that exact same thing, if you want to test it, you definitely should. Looks like we're getting pulled over.
Uh-oh. Yes, we are. It's 2 police cars behind us.
Really?
Not just 1. I think it's 2.
We gonna get a ticket? Man, that timing. So Miguel obviously doesn't know how to drive, so now we're getting...
That was awkward, dude.
He's my professional Driving for Dollars driver, and he doesn't even know the laws of how to drive.
How to drive.
Goodness gracious.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do my best.
Thank you for that. All right, so what's going to happen today? I'm just going to give you a verbal warning.
No, it's good. There was an ambulance or a police officer or something with their lights on, and we didn't notice. He didn't get over. That's all. It's not a big deal. He just gave him a warning. It's because he's got a nice face. Miguel's just so nice. No one wants to give him a ticket. I wouldn't give him a ticket either.
Okay.
So as you guys can see, like, this is one of the neighborhoods that we've done deals in. you know, if you're going along, some of these houses are a little bit better condition than others. So if you just want to like, you know, start driving through, like let's start talking about some of these different houses and like some of the reasons I might add some of these houses. So I would definitely add this house right here. So if you go look at the back corner by the garage, go by the garage to your left, scan to your left, zoom in by those garbage cans. So there's carpet, remnants of carpet back there. Obviously, you know, there's been some stuff. There's no grass in the front yard. It obviously was all dead last fall, last summer. It's late winter now. But you can tell that that house definitely looks vacant even. So that's a potentially good house. We would definitely add that property. Let's keep going. This next house on the left, I would not add this house. You can see they've got a pretty nice car. They take care of it. They keep it under a tarp. You know, as far as this neighborhood goes, it's actually a very nice, well-kept little house for this neighborhood. So we would skip that one. This is an obvious one on the right. We would definitely add this house for a lot of different reasons. This might even go on like a hot list. You can see how bad the siding is. The roof's old enough. I mean, the peeling paint, I mean, it's a complete eyesore, as you can tell. It looks like there's plywood, you know, they've covered up an old window instead of just replaced it. I mean, it's a complete obvious fixer-upper. So we keep going. You know, and this is just in the last, you know, 30 feet we found 3 or 4 that we would definitely add to the list. We'd stop. I would do this house right here. The reason I would do this house is just because of the stuff in the garage. You know, they have like cleaning materials and stuff. You know, a lot of times when there's any evidence of like tenants moving out or any evidence that the house may be going through a transition of homeowners, a lot of times in like garages or carports like that, there's evidence of it. Like there might be moving boxes, there might be cleaning materials, construction materials, things like that, paint buckets. So we would add that for just that reason there.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about like driving around. Sometimes like the front of the house, it looks all right, but when you look the garage, when you look in the backyard, all those little things like make your chances better to find a good deal. So try to look the house like in the backyard, the garage, to see.
This is a perfect example. The house is perfectly fine, but if you look in the side yard, like they've got an old rundown golf cart. They've got a trailer full of garbage. They've got rundown camping trailers. You know, that's definitely an indicator. Old rundown, broken down cars. So I would add this one because of the broken down car. Right here.
Look, this one here, the garage.
Yeah, look at the garage. So the house is not terrible for the area, but the garage is a complete obvious pack rat, right? There's a hoarder that lives there. It's an obvious sign of it. If your garage looks like that, you're a hoarder, by the way. So, here's one. Another obvious sign of a hoarder is when they have an excessive amount of yard decorations. And the funny thing is that one's actually for sale. So, you know, we might have hit that one a little too late. But that one was definitely one I would have added. This one here. Yeah, I would have added that one. Yeah, look at all the garbage in the yard. Just tons of garbage in the yard. Garbage all over. Just a complete obvious one. You know, this one right here for sure. And you see the patch on the roof. All the garbage in the yard. You know, it's basically February and they still got Christmas decorations up. You know, I mean, there's definitely one you want to add. This one I would definitely add. You got construction materials and stuff in the front there. Yeah, it looks like it's in good shape, but if there's any signs of like construction or anything, you definitely want to add them. Sometimes it's not just the house itself has distress, but like Miguel said, the yard, you know, look for construction materials, moving boxes, any evidence that, like this one looks completely vacant. Look, this is definitely a vacant house. You can tell it's a vacant house. You can see back in the shed back there, it's completely empty, doors wide open. The garbage cans, you can tell, has old, what do you call those, old blinds. There's blinds in the garbage cans. The garbage cans are full. There's an old mattress on the side of the house here. Like, dude, that one's, I'm gonna go knock on the door. I'm gonna go knock on the neighbor's door. That one's worth knocking on the neighbor's door because that one is obviously vacant. I wanna go get a story on what's going on there. I'll be right back.
No, look.
Dude, this neighborhood's this neighborhood's gold. So we just started testing out a new strategy that we'll probably be introducing pretty soon. But we're playing around with a couple different things. But the main thing that we've been testing is the houses that look completely run down and vacant. We're creating a whole different list for those because they're properties that are very obvious that when they do sell, they're going to need a cash investor. You know, they're not going to qualify for traditional financing. You know, when we're driving around, find these super rundown houses, you know, those are going to go into a different list because they eventually will sell that property. And when they do sell that property, they're going to want that cash investor. And I want to be the ones that they go to. And so, you know, once you build that list, that is your list. I mean, look at this one right here with the tarps on the roof. Look at this one. Go right here. Like this is gold, dude. I'm gonna go knock on their door. Look at this property, guys. They obviously had some damage this winter from the water, but look at this. They have a tarp on their roof. Their fascia and soffit and gutters are just falling off that house. Holy crap! I'm gonna go see if I can get yelled at. I'm gonna go see if they'll sell me the house. I'll be right back. Well, Bill was a nice guy, but Bill didn't necessarily want to sell, but that's okay. You know, he's someone that you definitely want to build a relationship with, and you know, that's why, you know, talking to these people to have these types of houses, you know, he's a super nice guy, but you know, when he opened up his door, it was very obvious that that house is torn apart. You know, the inside's as bad as the roof itself. So even though Bill's a nice guy, when he sells that house, it's in the condition that no one will be able to qualify. No bank is going to want to finance on a house in that kind of condition, especially to a primary, you know, resident type loan. And so, you know, that's definitely a house I want to keep in my radar for years. So yeah, that was a good conversation. Really nice. Built some rapport. Built a friendship. Shook his hand. Doesn't want to sell today, but you're not in the business of convincing people to sell. You're not trying to convince anybody of anything. You're trying to be loving, kind, and friendly to everyone that has a house that ultimately will eventually sell it for a cash offer. So he's a solid guy. Hopefully one day that'll turn into a deal, but that's not today. We're not trying to convince him to sell, but once he's ready to sell, hopefully he'll be willing to work with us. So the last neighborhood that we were just in was like median to medium low income type housing, and it was, you know, 1 in 4 houses, 1 in 5 houses, right, roughly, that we were adding. And this is a neighborhood that's a little bit better. It's still a pretty much median income, but some of these neighborhoods, there's a lot fewer houses to add. So what we do in these types of neighborhoods is we go through a lot faster, obviously, because we're not adding houses, but we go through and try and get the ones that are potentials. The cool thing is if you do find a house in these a little bit nicer houses, your fix and flip guys are going to be way more excited because they're the houses that stay on the market a lot less time, right? You're going to be able to resell them a lot faster. They're a lot more desirable. A lot of the times that the fix-up value is higher, so there's usually bigger margins. You can get bigger assignment fees. So this is the neighborhoods ideally to find a deal. So we're just going to cruise through here. Obviously these houses are pretty good. I would add this one right here, and I would add that one back there. So that red one back there has got an old gravel roof. Gravel roofs in Utah are pretty much outdated. There's peeling paint on the siding, broken window I can see. This one right here, same thing, this green one, peeling paint. It's got tin foil in the windows. It's got a cracked window. Definitely a house worth adding, you know. And they've got this covered shed with just garbage, broken down old vehicles. I mean, that's a golden lead right there. There's that one. The fascia or the rain gutters are falling off the roof. Obviously, gonna have some ice buildup this winter. Got into some maintenance issues. Look at this one right here. This is an obvious one. So you can see the paint. You see that paint just peeling? That's an obvious sign. Guys, if you want to get that driving for dollars criteria, like I said, my driving for dollars cheat sheet, like I said, it's absolutely free. I give it to anybody that's interested. There's going to be a link to get that. All you do is you go in, request it, and it gets emailed over to you. So go to the link, get that driving for dollars cheat sheet. If you want to learn more about the full process of our driving for dollars system, you know, how we add them, everything that we use, how we reach out to them, how we contact them, and then also how we manage our one driver and our systems to be able to automate this entire system, plus all of the exciting bonuses to my course. I talk about those in my webinar that teaches you how to find massively discounted properties in any market. Go to dfdmastery.com. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing you there. Don't forget to like and subscribe.